Hi, I'm Angie Pontani, the burlesque superstar who has spent the last 20 years shimmying and shaking around the globe. I've performed in showrooms, ballrooms, small rooms, and big rooms, every room except a mushroom. Along the way, I've met some amazing people, and I'd like to introduce them to you. Together, we will pull back the curtain to reveal what really happens behind the glitter, feathers, and tassels. So join me for the bump and grind. In 2003, the Whoopee Club emerged onto the scene in London, providing a stage for budding burlesque and variety artists, as well as helping to create an audience for the newly simmering renaissance of tease. Word of the elaborate and aspirational shows made its way around the globe, and that was without the quick assistance of social media that nowadays funnels information, pictures, trends, tour dates without haste everywhere. Everybody knows what's happening. But the Whoopee Club, that was word of mouth, and that was the place to be with its elaborate presentations, eclectic booking, and audiences dressed to the nines. Behind the scenes, making it all happen, was Lara Clifton and Tamara Tyrer. Artists, producers, curators, pioneers tossing it all in to create what is now to be known as one of the early breeding grounds that helped cement burlesque as the punk rock, anything goes, glamour gospel. I am thrilled to welcome Lara and Tamara to the Bump and Grind. Lara and Tamara, famed founders of the Whoopee Club. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I haven't seen you guys, I think, since the Edinburgh Fringe Festival 18,000 years ago.
I know, that's a lot.
16 years ago, to be precise. We just worked it out.
Oh, that's so funny. I was trying to think about it this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so long ago. But I have such fond memories of that trip, and I can't wait to get into that. But first and foremost, you both were so fundamental in establishing the burlesque scene in London with the Whoopee Club, really spread throughout Europe. How did you two find each other to make that connection? How did you connect? When did it happen?
Well, I went to a fan dancing workshop that Lara was, were you running it or you just organised it? I can't remember.
I was running a thing at the International Workshop Festival called Miss Lara Clifton's Academy of Burlesque. Strange but true.
And what year was that about?
2002. Yeah, I think it possibly was, because we started Whoopee in 2003, didn't we?
I don't know. Actually, do.
Yeah, we did.
So it was a quick turnover. So you were already, Lara, into burlesque. You were into it enough that you were teaching a fan workshop.
I wasn't teaching it. I basically organised it. So I brought in the teachers. I was a stripper at the time, and the guy that ran the International Workshop Festival, which doesn't exist anymore, Luke Dixon, invited me to do a section of that workshop festival as with burlesque lessons, and I brought in people who I knew via stripping, really. So Jo King, who is a woman that was teaching people to strip and have body confidence, and then I brought in people who I was working with to teach fan dancing, but I wasn't an expert in any way whatsoever. I was just responding to...
I don't think in 2002 anyone was an expert.
I was responding to a brief, and it was great because lots of people turned up. Yeah.
That's great. And how did you find, to put that together? The scene was pretty young in London at the time. Did you just kind of look around and see what was out there and pull from that, or were you influenced from other sources?
That, as far as I remember, there wasn't a scene, and I really wanted there to be a kind of a club that had all this stuff going on in it, and was interested in, in the kind of performance side of women being sexual. And my main intentions at that time were to take these amazing performances that I was seeing in, crappy East End strip clubs. And I just thought these performances were amazing, and that could be burlesque, and that could be on a stage, and it could be in a different environment, and and that art could be really recognised and celebrated. And
when you Workshop, at that time, did you want to do a club?
Yes, I did.
So you always wanted to.
Yes, the bit that I really liked about that the workshop was that at the end I put together a show from all the different classes.
Oh wow!
On Battersea Barge, and I knew Modesty Blaze. She was barely performing. She was an artist that had just created that character, and I've seen her perform at the it used to be the Sex Maniacs Ball, and then it was the Erotic Oscars. I saw her perform there.
Oh, okay.
And so I invited her to be the star in this little show that we did on Battersea Barge. And that was...
So you were
and
producing.
I loved that
You're
bit.
just a natural producer. Yeah. But putting things together, that's your thing.
Yeah. I hadn't done it before, but yeah, I'd wanted to for a lot. Like even at college, I tried to set up a cabaret club. I tried to get all the people in my year to join in, and everyone just said it was a duff idea and wouldn't play, so it didn't happen. But I'd been trying.
Well, they were wrong.
I know, right?
They were all wrong. It was not a duff idea.
Yeah.
And so, Tamara, you see this fan workshop and you go and you take that because had you an inkling of burlesque at this time, or did you just see that, like, posted somewhere?
I don't know. Like, I was doing a degree of making like art, film and video art, and I was really into. I was into like the vintage scene. So I mean that was already there because I really liked wearing vintage clothes, and I think I was trying to like seek people like that out because at my college there wasn't really anyone like that. And I must have known about burlesque because I knew that I wanted to do this sort of burlesque cabaret, events and create a space where people could dress up and have this sort of fantasy idea.
It was just something that always appealed to you,
like in my artwork, like I'd already made a film with me as a mermaid and a film about the red shoes, so I was already into like dance and these kind of like female archetypes, like mermaids, and so I was already into the idea of like women transforming and being something else and dressing up. And
so was your area of study, was it film or dance?
Video work.
Beautiful. That's so funny. And Lara, what about you? Like just in terms of training and studying, did you have like professional training in dance or production or theater background?
No, I
just winging.
I did go to art college, but a very long time ago. So yeah, no, I had absolutely
it was all
no
a very
training.
long time ago now.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long time ago then, so it's a really long time ago now. So
you two meet and you click and you quickly turned around and created the Whoopee Club. How did you discover that you were so simpatico with your interests and your vision?
I remember that we there was a little after the workshops. There was a little drink, wasn't there, at the old Vic Theatre, because that's where the workshop was in the bottom. Do you remember? And we got chatting, and you said, and I said, what I really want to do is set up a club, and you said that's what I really, really want to do as well. So we have never been friends outside of Whoopee. We just kind of then just started talking about it. And I think that we completely clicked on the fact that we both really liked the Regency Club. Smashing at the Regency Club. And I think
what was Smashing at the Regency Club? What was that?
Smashing was
Tamara, you say.
a club that I went to when I was like 16. And it had like, Jarvis Cocker from Pulp, and Courtney Love was there once, and really wild, and everyone dressed up, and you just felt so free. And then when we were at the age where I met Lara, all that kind of stuff had dried up in London. Like dressing up was really like out, and there wasn't any of that kind of feeling of like the party, dressing up, and that kind of fun club. And I really wanted to sort of create something like that, but with a show. And
you were able to bring it back.
Yes.
We did, yeah.
You did. No, you did. So when you created the Whoopee Club and you guys sit down and you start to put together this show and this whole experience, because I feel like it was definitely much more of a full sensory experience, like from getting the audiences to dress up to these beautiful spaces. Did it happen organically, or were you really calculated? Like, people have to dress up. We have to put this out there. This is what we want. Like, how did you get it to come together so
Well, I wanted like a an old space, like an old music hall or something, and I was actually an extra on a TV show, and I happened to be in the Cobden Club, and I think maybe I can't remember, Lara, where we were already then looking for a venue, but
we were.
That was like, what a brilliant place this was. It had like a stage with a red curtain. It was Victorian. It was so beautiful, and just this sort of like a members club, like no one really knew about it.
Oh wow!
It had a Victorian stage with a rake and everything, and it just wasn't, that element of that room was just being ignored,
Oh, that sounds amazing. That's amazing. Did you guys have any resistance from the venue when you wanted to come in there with the show? Because I know in New York or in the States in the early days, a lot of the venues were slightly hesitant when you would say the word burlesque. Were you guys billing it as burlesque, or were you just going full variety? Was there any pushback for this style of entertainment that, while so timeless, was at that point kind of almost new?
I think that there weren't any burlesque clubs, so even if we had said burlesque, I think people wouldn't have minded. But I don't think we were our catchphrase, not catchphrase, or we used to say the slogan. Thank you. Our slogan was like, the burlesque circus is coming to town. So we had burlesque in the title, but we were interested in putting together a show, like themed shows that was going to use kind of Tamara's amazing like film knowledge. So we had projections. We were making these sumptuous kind of environments. It was what we both wanted to do, and so we didn't have much resistance from the vet. They weren't like that excited because they didn't know if we were going to bring in any people. I mean, we did, but I think that they were happy that we were going to put something in, and also like the DJs was really important. That everybody dressed up and everyone, the audience and the people on the stage, were all part of the same party. It was a whole thing. It was, the stuff on the stage was part of a whole, like a kind of club night out almost with a show.
We were lucky. The guy at the Cobden Club too, Robin, I think, because he seemed very open-minded about things.
Yeah. I mean,
how open-minded? I feel like there's a story there.
Yeah, I'm just remembering Mouse. Are you?
This performer Mouse that did a very rude act.
And they let it go. They didn't. They were okay with it.
Yeah. I think we were really, really scared. We thought we were just going to get banned at that point.
Oh. Yeah. What happens in the act that's so scandalous?
Well, Mouse, for one, was just naked the whole night up until she got on stage anyway, and chatting people up and going, I think they're a bit scared of me. I don't know why they're scared of me. And then she got on stage where she does her thing, what she does, which she basically puts a lot of water inside of herself. And then goes on all fours and faces the audience. She's in the Guinness World of Records. There's a word for it. She shot the water across the stage, so it was a big old hall, and it landed behind the bar.
Oh my!
She also did a thing where she put. People remember it differently. They remember that she shot a fish out of her vagina, and it landed behind the bar. It's not quite true. She put a shovel in her vagina, like a plastic kid's spade. Up there, and then put a real fish on it, and then her muscle control was so good that she was able to flick that fish to the back.
Wow!
Apparently they found the fish like months later. It was under the DJ booth. There was a really bad smell.
Oh my god! And they're like, oh, that's the fish from Mouse's vagina.
Yes.
So, yes, they were very understanding. Yeah, I think here that would definitely get you kicked out.
I think that we learnt one of the first rules of producing on that night, which is you always say you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had no idea they were going to do that.
Yes. It's like, it's always better to ask for forgiveness than permission or something like that when it comes to that. Yes. I know that rule because they're going to say no to everything otherwise.
Absolutely. We had this. We were quite scared about what, like, the audience who are, quite posh and dressed up, and they did get a shower of water on them, what they were going to say. But we had a lovely email the next day saying they had a wonderful night and thank you so much for the bum shandy.
Oh man, that's amazing.
So we got away with it.
And so how much of the show did you curate, like starting out, like with Mouse's act? Like, did you try to bring together a varied variety, like, something it's performance art, and this is going to be like classic burlesque, and this is circus? Like, were you very involved in the curation and what the acts were going to be, and the music and the color of the costumes? And did you really dig into it?
Every month we set the theme, and then like once we were on a roll, like we would just set this theme, and then everyone would have like a month to prepare for it, and we'd do like a playlist. We'd set up like music, and we had like a house band, the Flash Monkey, and they would learn new music for it, and then we'd make projections, and all the performers would like make new acts to the theme and costumes, and it was amazing really what we got done in short spaces of time.
We're rolling out a whole new production every month.
Wow, that's crazy. That's so much work. And with all live music.
Yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
Just having a band and rolling out a new show every month is a tremendous amount
so we'd have these
work.
production meetings with the band and with the acts. They'd say what they wanted, and they'd go away and learn the music.
And you guys would do visuals, too. Like, really making it like this.
Yeah, Tamara did all of those. So it looked very deluxe, looking at the pictures, they look amazing when I look back at them now.
I was looking back through the pictures like this week in anticipation of our chat, and I remember seeing them like back in the day, and it was just so amazing to look at them and see how beautiful and how detailed and how nice the beautiful the light, like it's they look like they could be pictures from an old Ziegfeld Follies film or a Busby Berkeley film or something like that. Like, you didn't get a lot of that here in New York. Here in New York, it was like, let's roll into the bar and throw it on stage and hope we don't step on a nail while we get changed in the bathroom, What do you think, it's just to take that on, would you have considered doing it in a smaller way? Or was that just, you wanted to go balls to the wall? You wanted to do it out? Like,
I mean, I don't know if we slow down and do it every few months after a bit?
I mean, eventually, but we did it every month. Then we started doing bigger ones, maybe a bit less often, but we did it monthly for at least 2 years.
What I do miss about it is that you could be really creative and just decide on it really quickly and then just do it. And there wasn't really any time to worry about what would people might think, or, if you're making a film, you spend months preparing it or editing, and then you think, oh, what are people going to say? And then you don't even know what people say because you don't really know people's reactions. Whereas with the show, like you did with us, we did this quick thing, created this thing, and then the audience would respond to it immediately, and you'd know what was really good and what they liked, and that was so amazing to sort of be creative and have an instant like response, and
And what were the performers that were really establishing once the Whoopee Club started rolling? Were there people that you were just like, we have to have them time and time again? Were there staples?
Well, yes, very quickly, Modesty Blaze became our headliner. She was there from the first one.
Wow.
And then I think she introduced her friend Walter. And so then Walter would be the second to last act each time. And we also set up, Tamara set up, we created our own dance troupe. We auditioned lots of dancers so they didn't know each other. And that was a kind of, the Whoopee Bells became a massive thing. And that we were then choosing their tracks, bringing in a choreographer, costuming them. They added, whatever they did was for the theme of the show. Who else were regulars?
Well, Shinge Shonawa was one of the singers. She's in quite a famous band, and was and yeah, she was the most amazing singer. I think she once did "I Put a Spell on You."
Wow.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, I think Nina Simone had just died, hadn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an incredible night.
Yeah, and it was amazing just sort of meeting lots of new performers. Like in the Whoopee Bobels, Gemma Whelan was one of the dancers, and she's now.
And Paloma Faith became a regular with us and was like spotted by Sony at one of our events at the Atlantic.
Wow, and that went very well for her.
Yeah,
I hear it went okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
yeah, and when we did a show at the Hackney Empire called Wink the Other Eye, and she was the sort of main. We kind of wrote a whole script for it, and she was like the sort of main character that kind of introduced.
Wow.
But it was like in a kind of story, kind of musical story.
Oh, that's so great. I mean, I love with the Bobels, like I love in a show having that that group dance. I think it's such a complimentary thing. Like you have all of these acts, solos or duets, and they're so fun. But when that group dance comes on, it's really something magical that happens. And it makes it feel like such a great show. It closes it up. You know, I love that. I love that element.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm now running another cabaret thing in Ramsgate, and I've got a community dance troupe. I had to get a dance troupe.
Yeah, you have to.
I just love a dance troupe, man.
Oh, me too. It's my favorite thing. It just makes it feel like you're like sitting somewhere in the theater in like the 1940s supper club or something, and it's
named after the Busby Berkeley film, I think.
Oh, of course. Is it? Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing.
Insane plans, like at the first show that we were going to like film from up, from above and like project it behind the dancers. And so it was like,
oh wow,
oh, yeah,
but
we were, weren't we? Yeah.
Lofty ambitions.
Yeah, the shows look ambitious, but there was nowhere near what we actually were trying to do.
I understand.
Which was make whole Busby Berkeley films all the time.
But when you guys did the one show that was the Wooder show, that was like, I mean, first of all, is anybody like I don't even know what it's called, a Wooder dancer? Like what is like a synchronized swimming?
A synchronized swimmer. Yeah.
Is anybody a synchronized? Do you have synchronized swimmer training?
Yeah, we found
we
synchronized swimmers to do it. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Whoopee Bobels and another like 14. We had 20 non-swimmers dancers, and then they trained them all to do synchronized swimming moves. So they could all,
which is not easy.
No,
it's so hard.
That was hard.
It's one of those things that you think you can do, and then you try.
Also, you want to try a rehearsal, like trying to direct people in a like public swimming pool.
No,
the acoustics are just dreadful with loads of shivering dancers. Yeah, I can tell you it's not easy.
It's a hard thing to make look glamorous, but when you look at those pictures, they look like a Busby Berkeley musical.
I know. That was we tried to make flesh Tamara's dream, and we did to some level. We did.
Listen, the pictures tell the tale of time. The pictures tell the history. And when I was looking at those pictures, like the shapes that the girls were making were so Busby Berkeley, like the Wooders coming out of the ground. It was totally like Esther Williams. Esther Williams' realness.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
We wanted to tour the country, but it never quite.
We did want it. We did it at Fierce Arts, remember, in Birmingham.
So that was good.
I mean,
yeah.
That's a challenging venue to find. You just did it at the pool?
It was more challenging. I mean, I could go into really boring production stuff, but it was a public pool, so we could only rehearse it once everyone had gone home. So we're doing 10 o'clock rehearsals with loads of shivering people who couldn't understand what we were shouting at them from the side because the acoustics rattled everywhere. But then even on the day of the show, we could only start bringing in the lights, the fountains, the sound once the public had gone. We didn't have any access when the public were there, and they would not, because it's council run, they wouldn't close it down early for a show.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it was really hard.
It's really working for your art.
Yeah.
How did you create an ambiance vibe in a public pool for when the audience came in? Like, that chlorine smell, the squeaky sound of your shoes on the floor. Like, how did you transform that space?
It's a beautiful swimming pool. It was it Edwardian? I can't remember it, but it was.
I think it is Edwardian. Yeah. Porchester Baths.
It was not like a YMCA pool here.
Yeah, did we have lighting probably in the entrance way? And
yeah, we had music and all the people were dressed up. They went through the small pool, didn't they, where you did a thing in there with the glowing balls.
With a performance in, and yeah.
How were you guys funding these shows? There's so many elements, like glowing balls are expensive. How were you guys making this happen?
We were ticket sales only. No one was being paid very well, and we didn't make any money.
Well, we got Arts Council funding, so that was really good.
Eventually, but not for Nymphaeum we did.
No, yeah. It was just ticket sales, just hoping that we would get some money back with the ticket sales.
Was there anything else like you guys going on in the city at the other? Because I imagine like a couple years in, burlesque started really popping up, right, in London. Was there other shows that were comparable at all to what you were doing?
No, there's the Modern Times Club, but they didn't. Did they have a show? I don't think they.
I don't think so. It was just more dressing up and music, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't. And then there was like more sort of fetish things like the Torture Garden, but equally they didn't. I don't think they really had a show. I think they might have had acts on, but I think we were the only ones for quite a few years. Were we, Laura?
Yeah, no, completely. And it felt like that as well. You'd be in the room when it was all kicking off and you're like, this is like the best club in Europe, if not in the world. Like, this is not going on anywhere else.
Yeah.
And everyone in the room felt like that. It was a tiny moment in time that didn't feel like that forever.
And it was mad.
Yeah, there wasn't anything like it.
Yeah, we weren't theatre. We weren't trained in theatre, so it was crazy. Like, we had to learn.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Theatre production virtually without any training.
Tamara and I just chatted earlier so we could see how our memories were going, what we could remember. And remembering our very first one at the Cobden Club. So we'd never, ever produced a show before. And we had a live band, we had lights, we had like 6 or 7 acts on. And the electricity went in the building the whole day. So we basically tried to work out a show in the dark.
Oh my God.
We had to set up the band in the dark. There's all these wires everywhere. We're like, what do we do with these wires? How have people done it before? Then we found this massive rug. So we put this big rug on the wires. And then the other thing that I think we should mention, that part of why it was so exciting for audiences and part of the reason why it all worked was the flyers. And that was completely like Tamara art directed those, but also we were very good at getting them into all these vintage shops. Like we were very, very we put them in the right places, and the design was beautiful, and the dress code that we wrote was really unprescriptive but really suggestive, and it really got everyone's imaginations going. So anyway, we'd done a great flyer, and there was a queue round the corner, and we'd never put a show on before.
Wow.
We'd been in the dark all day trying to set up a show. We didn't even know how to tell people, like, you come on next. Like, we knew nothing.
Yeah.
It was pitch black, and then the lights came on, and there's suddenly all these dressed up people were in the room, and terrifying.
That is terrifying and amazing.
That was
crazy.
our first show.
Yeah,
and the show went amazing.
And the Cobden Club had this really sort of comical red curtain that would never really close properly, which it felt like I was in the Muppets or something. Like, and you kept seeing people trying to sort of close behind on the stage.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was like like judder close, but not close completely.
It's perfect for burlesque.
yeah, absolutely.
It sounds perfect.
I mean, I think burlesque is that kind of that kind of mix of totally high end production and amateurness, which makes that kind of punk vibe. You know, that is the thing that you guys in burlesque have anyway, and I think that we were trying to take that energy and make that into a thing, because it's amazing. Like,
well, and it's like what you
what
guys said
happens there.
before. You're not there's no snobbery in the art. It's like you can love art and have this amazing thing, but there's no snobbery. I always like to say there's no fourth wall in burlesque. It's like you're the audience is right there with you. Lights out. Don't trip on a cord. Nobody really knows what they're doing. But so you developed a loyal like audience base, right? I mean, people came to that first show, they lost their like it was like you have to go to everyone. Like you wouldn't want to miss a Whoopee Club.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have people that stayed with you the whole time? You guys ran from 2002 to 2009?
Yeah, it was 2003. Yeah, so 6 years.
And fans that stayed for the whole run.
Yeah, people stayed with us. And lots of people met their future husbands or wives. It was a very, free, flirty kind of atmosphere. And there's more people than we know, I think, who met people there.
What were the capacities that the club was at certain times? Like, was it a couple hundred people?
I think the Cobden was, in my memory, 300.
Oh, that's what I remember.
And
I remember that. Yeah,
what do you think? Yeah, and then we were selling out, so we needed to go somewhere bigger. So we went to the Atlantic, which is this amazing venue near Leicester Square that had been built to replicate the design of the Titanic.
Oh wow!
So it was all completely Art Deco. It was stunning, and it'd gone a bit out of fashion at the point when we wanted, so they let us in, and we did a Sunday night in there, and packed out on a Sunday, and that was 700 capacity.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, but that's what we needed at that point.
Especially on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Was it a conscious decision to move venues? Did you never want to stay in one place too long, or was it just necessity?
It was just
production?
numbers. Just numbers. We need, we knew that more people could come in, and if we had more ticket sales, we could have more. We could do more stuff.
Yeah,
we could have more fancy costumes,
more gold balls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel like it's not that long ago, but it was quite a bit ago, and things have changed. And I feel like social media has changed so much. I mean, at that point we were on MySpace, right? Right? It was like MySpace.
I'll tell you what happened with us, because I don't know if this is interesting, but we, because we had a kind of core of people that we'd use for each thing, and then we'd bring in special acts depending on the theme. And then we started getting kind of like corporate commercial bookings.
Course,
so we'd bring our little set of this kind of set of people that we'd not created but put together, which made the energy of Whoopee, and they'd get hired out all together for shows for things. And so then we decided what would be good is to kind of set up as an agency. And so we made this really beautiful, like 1920s looking star book of everybody.
Wow.
So a brochure so people could book us. And we spent a lot of money on that, and we got an office, and we had a pink phone, and we had a beautiful desk. And
a pink phone?
I know, right? And then about a month later, MySpace turned up, and people just contacted the artists on MySpace. I mean, they never created the Whoopee Club. It's not the same.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, it stopped that. Yeah, so MySpace wasn't even there. So that makes me know that it wasn't there. We did it on literal beautiful flyers placed in the right place. There was no social media in how we were getting people.
What's weird about
that's amazing.
There's not much presence of it now on the internet,
right.
Of Whoopee. So
yes,
I know about it, but it seems slightly weird because it almost feels like it's disappeared in time.
Yeah, it's true. You can try and Google it, and it's not there because we existed just before the internet became the way in which everyone communicates. We really did.
Well, do you think that you would ever, because that was kind of going to my point, because I was Googling it and I was so surprised that there wasn't a lot there, but Similarly,
I've got actual photographs. I've got loads of photographs.
Exactly. And I think that there's a lot of that from that early period in burlesque, which is so important to the history of the revival. Would you guys ever consider like sitting down and uploading those archives and putting them out there and creating? Because I think it is important because there was so much that happened and so much work.
I know, but we'd like to do a book. We've been talking recently about making a book. And I think that, yeah, we should perhaps like have more of an internet presence.
I think if we did the book, then we could also do a website. The website and the book would go hand in hand, and it would be good.
Because you have all the beautiful flyers, you have so many beautiful photographs. You probably have video.
I videoed all of the shows.
Oh, did you? Have you got them all?
There you go.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
I think it's interesting, though, because when you look at I often think about social media in terms of my early career, too. I'm like, man, if Instagram and Facebook were this hopping in the early 2000s when we were traveling all over with the Pontani sisters, like it could have potentially opened so many doors. But then I also wonder if it could have conversely affected it in a sense by taking away some of that niche coolness and that air of mystery and separation, that this is such a special thing that's happening here and you just have to be here. That's the only way you can experience it, is being here.
Yeah, because it's not the same if you just looked at it on Instagram or something. It's just not.
No, you have to be in the cool club.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it existed in this special bubble where a lot of people knew about it, but hardly anyone knew about it, and that is part of its specialness.
Also, I think that
it is.
And all the sort of the audience by flyering and all these different places around London and vintage shops and cinemas, and that's what we brought. And also that's what was good about, we brought kind of different sort of social scenes together, like vintage and fetish and sort of performance art bands. Like we brought all these different kind of groups of people all together in one place.
Yeah, and there was lots of kind of artists as well, wasn't there? There's like the woman that directed the Christina Aguilera video at that time. People like to think that they were in the know by being at Whoopee. It had that going on as well.
Yeah, and even without social media and that epic reach of that time, you were able to bring over performers from overseas as well. You started bringing in feature acts from the States and other countries to perform there too.
I'm not sure they kind of came to us. Well, I'm thinking of like
even
Fancy
better.
Chance. Fancy Chance rocked up and we didn't know, Fancy Chance. And then we also had Burley Q perform with us. But yeah, she just rocked up and said, I'm a big deal in America. We're like, great. She got this amazing like Alice in Wonderland act. Like, great, we're doing a Disney theme. Can you come and do that? So
and that's amazing.
The first gig that she did in the UK was with us.
That's great.
And that's part of the thing as well, I think, Tamara, when we're saying that like we weren't snobs. We often didn't need to see people's stuff. Sometimes, it would just be like, we'll give this a go because you feel right within this,
It's the magic. So it's the gamble.
There wasn't a hierarchy. You could have done no gigs before, and if we were convinced that you were going to do a good thing that would fit with us, then you could go on.
Did you guys ever have any disagreements? Like, I can't stand that person. I don't like that act, and the other one's like, no, I love that one.
I can't remember disagreeing. Did we? The act?
I'm thinking of something, but I don't want to say because it sounds a bit mean. So no. I think I was a bit more laissez-faire than Tamara. I would sometimes just put people on because I just thought I didn't like to say no.
Yeah, it's hard to say no.
Tamara would be like, there's an important art to this. This is like not who we are. I'm like, yeah, sorry. If I had known, I wouldn't have. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I forgot to say we also did like a tableau vivant every show.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Really fun. So then you could get like, we would just invite like perhaps sometimes people who from the audience, to be in it, or and that was and I would often be in it because I was scared to perform, to actually move on stage. So that was my opportunity to be in the show. And I didn't have
That's
So-
both of us.
You were
Both
both
of us were
behind
in the
scenes.
tableau.
Wow.
Yeah, we're both behind the scenes, apart from when we did the living picture. So we'd start the show with a scene that would set the scene for the whole show, and we were, a tableau.
I
So
love
I've got a
that you
picture-
guys did those tableaus. That's
I've got
amazing.
a picture on the wall of the first one where we're basically wearing long blonde wigs and little pink scarf tied around our leather region. Then we've got birds stuck on our boobs.
So old school. I remember those from the Edinburgh shows.
Yeah.
The lady grey teas.
Yeah, we had
Oh,
the living chandelier. So they all had we all made these chandelier hats. That everyone sort of joined together and make one giant chandelier.
Yeah, we were joined together by pearls that stuck on pasties.
Wow.
So-
Who made
so-
the
so we were-
costumes?
I think that one was made by my stepsister. Shout out to Kirsta.
Yes, Krista. That's amazing. And how long would you guys stand there in the tableau vivant?
For a song, so 3 minutes, 4
It's a
minutes.
long time to stand still.
It is, especially the first one. There was just loads of my friends who were from strip clubs, and they were just basically heckling me, like, "What are you doing?" And I had to just stand there like this.
Oh no!
And that was the band. That wasn't even a recorded track. The band never stopped playing.
Yeah, they'll
Like,
do that.
and you couldn't tell them to close the curtain because you were having to be a tableau. So it got in the way of producing.
Yeah. Oh, right. Because you're standing there and you need to make a call while the
Yeah,
audience
then
is
close the
heckling
fucking curtain, right?
It's a challenge. I loved those. And it's so old school. Did you have them in every single show?
Yes, yeah, it was like a part of the show, like the Whoopee Bells would always do a routine and always the tableau. That was just, that was the sort of definitely what had to be in the show each time, the tradition.
How did you theme your shows? Would it be like based off of the season or something happening socially or just an aesthetic? Like, how would you come up with all the different ideas? Because month to month for several years, that's a lot of different themes.
Well, I think, it was different aesthetics like mermaids and Victorian and musical. And I mean, we just basically just thought, I did a lot of research looking back at the history of burlesque and music hall variety in America and England and Paris and Germany. So there was a lot of material to draw on. Yeah, so one time we had like a Berlin, theme, and there was loads of themes. I mean, I still have themes I'd like to do if I ever did a show again.
Yeah,
Coming around.
Revival.
We did a kind of cowboy theme, Rancho Notorious. We did a Victorian bordello theme.
And so
We
the
did,
audience would
a
dress
mermaid
according
theme.
to the theme.
Yeah.
So if you did a cowboy, everybody's going to show up with a cowboy hat and looking Western.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Laura said not to exclude anyone. Like, it wasn't like, if you don't look like this, you can't come in. It was a dress code just to make it really fun and for everyone to take part in the fantasy of it. Like, it would be like gypsy circus. It would be like, I don't know, tassels, moustaches. It'd be like a whole list of different kind of things you could be.
But I think it's so great because I feel that, especially in burlesque shows, the audience is the make or break of whether the show is going to be really good or not. If you have a lame audience and they're not into it, it's really hard to have a great show. But if the audience is into it, it's just such a reciprocal thing. And it's so smart to kind of make them a part of it.
Yeah.
Through dress or through anything. That's fun.
People who hadn't been to the show, when burlesque was a very new thing in the public realm, they were like, "Oh, well, aren't you objectifying women?" And they just didn't get it if you hadn't been to it. Because when you go, you knew you were part of something. It was like you were all together in this sensory experience. So it was almost like, I would hope, like an audience member felt that they were part of the performance and the act, and there was not like a separation, I hoped, between the audience and the person stripping, or, it was a whole kind of, there was no objectifying. To me, I felt like that.
And you couldn't tell quite often the performers from the audience, because the audience really went for it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So as you grew and as the show grew and you're going into bigger productions, did it become more stressful, or was it just all excitement? Because I imagine in those early days, I know I look back at some of the stuff that, I did, and I'm like, how did I have the energy for that? I must have just been so excited. Like...
Yeah, it was always stressful. I probably got more, like the bigger the venue, the more, when we got into the Atlantic, they didn't have a stage. So in fact, even though we had a bigger audience, we weren't saving any money, because then we had to pay a big company to erect the stage and lights, and all of that comes with its own stress.
I hate that aspect of production. I hate that so much. Building out a space is the worst thing ever.
Yeah,
because we want, as we carried on with it, we wanted to make the shows kind of more theatrical and more planned. So then that meant more rehearsing, which was in a way crazy, because it was just like one show. So I mean, that was what we do later on, is to make a show that we could then do in other places. So like we did a show in Blackpool that we then did at the Thames Festival in London. So that was the kind of aim. But it was always so intense. Like that was the sort of why we couldn't carry on with it. Like some other clubs from our time still carry on, because they didn't have. We just had this amazing, like, creative, like, perfectionist ideas of shows which are hard to just keep going, like, month after month.
You definitely set a precedent to constantly change and grow and deliver something new.
Yeah. And the energy of something just happening once is so exciting. But it's, you can't keep that up for your whole life.
No, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Did you notice the trend of burlesque kind of changing and growing as the club was growing? Like, did you see the trends in performance, and what did you think of that?
Absolutely. I mean, sorry, why am I jumping in? But I felt that, like, burlesque went mainstream. I don't know about in America, but it felt like it went mainstream really, really quickly in a weird way in the UK. Like, so much so that, like, Marks and Spencers and Specsavers were using burlesque imagery in their adverts, and I think that made it a bit tricky. I imagine it made it tricky on the burlesque community, and I think it made it tricky for us as producers to still be considered subversive and to still be trying to, like, push out ideas when there's obviously you're using females who look sexy, and we owned that, and the performers owned that, everybody owned that, but that is so commercial, that can be so commercially, like, stolen from, and delved into and ripped away, and just all you're looking at is some, like, conventionally sexy woman on a trapeze, and that in everyone's consciousness became burlesque, And I feel like that's what was often sold around the country into burlesque clubs, and it felt retro in the wrong way.
It's a thin line
to me, Yeah, and so it's quite hard to try and keep hold of the fucking amazing thing that is burlesque, that this power that comes, but it comes from live. I really think it does. And I think that so there is a whole other landscape of burlesque now that that social media and film stuff is really important. But to keep channeling that power for good and not bad.
Yeah, no, it's a very thin line. And you guys got really, I know there were, like, corporate events for, like, Agent Provocateur and Vivienne Westwood. And I remember seeing it becoming really commercial. It did too here in the States, where you had this swath of time where corporate events, and you saw elements of burlesque in television commercials and in TV shows and in films, and it's a very delicate balance. So you don't capture that spirit, I don't feel. I agree with you.
Yeah, and it's how you kind of keep your thing going, where everyone's going like, oh yeah, I know what burlesque is. I saw it on this advert. Yeah. No, that it's not just a girl in pasties, like, who with a really conventionally good look. It's not that. There's a whole power there. And so I think that I don't know. You know more than me because you're kind of.
I definitely don't.
In burlesque, and I was making variety shows, but I felt that there's some struggle that's happened later down the line where we're all trying to kind of how we hold on to that power.
Yeah, I think when you have it, and I've asked
and the art.
Oh yeah,
and how we keep it subversive and how we make it relevant.
So yeah, when it became very commercial, it was quite difficult to sort of. I wanted, being an artist, I wanted to be sort of taken seriously. I wanted people to know that it was this sort of artistic endeavour and not this sort of commercial thing. So yeah, that was hard to sort of keep that balance without.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest questions, I think, of my career is like, how high can you take this niche entertainment? And you want to take it up, and you want to do these amazing things. But then somehow you lose something in that transition. That's always been a delicate balance.
You're making loads of money. Like, don't you want to like capitalize on this fashion of burlesque and really make some money? But I could just never. It was always this sort of art project. I just never could decide to kind of sell my soul and do some really commercial show. Just to be a great to be a working business or something.
Yeah, it is definitely a live art form, I think, and even just the energy of some of the photos that you see from these raw live shows, they can catch it in a sense, but it is challenging to take it to a wider audience, like in television or when you get into these commercial advertisements or things like that, you tend to lose something. But I know the first time I met you both in person was at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival that you brought my sisters and I over for, and it was so much fun. I met so many people. What inspired you guys to take the show there?
People just get saying we should go to, maybe tomorrow you've got a better idea. I don't know why we went. I mean, if you're in the UK, the obvious thing to do, if you're putting on theatrical stuff, is to take it to Edinburgh. And then also, I guess we must have been trying to think about a way in which you can run the same thing but different, like more often.
Yeah.
So you create a structure that can keep moving instead of creating a whole new production all the time. So what we were doing there is a show every night for 2 weeks. And so it wasn't the same show because we had different acts coming in. As you know, you came over. Did we bring you over?
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry. When you were saying you started bringing over acts, I should have said we brought you.
Yeah. Oh no! But that was you brought to Edinburgh, but we never went to London. But
yeah, well, we should have done. We never had the real budget to bring people over.
It's a lot.
We did. And at that point, I mean, we fucking changed Edinburgh. Sorry, I keep swearing.
It's okay. We always get explicit ratings on ours anyway. Everybody swears.
Okay, all right. Just realised I've got such a potty mouth. But we at that point there was no cabaret. Like cabaret was kind of a dirty word at Edinburgh. It was stand-up comics and plays and live art.
I remember it was a big deal. It was a big deal.
We had this funny little basement. We started at midnight, didn't we?
Yes, it was late.
We managed to pack it out every night. We went on after these two kind of really sweet, like Portuguese pipe players or something, and they were always there when we turned up to get ready, and no one was in the audience. And then we'd come in with all of our stuff and suddenly pack out this weird little basement. Since then, by the way, cabaret is a major listing in Edinburgh. Like, I mean, it's taken its time, but cabaret and burlesque and what's her name? Nasty
Canasta? Thank
you, Nasty Canasta. Did a really good show there a couple of years ago. Like, Edinburgh is now a place where performers from all around the world who come from our neck of the woods, who are burlesque and who are trying out like really punky, sexy stuff is happening. But it wasn't at that point.
Did you have any resistance from them when you applied to be a part of it, the festival? Were they excited about it? Were they apprehensive? Did they try to put any rules or regulations on the show? No mouse vagina, no fish flinging out of your vagina?
I think because there's, at any time at Edinburgh Festival, there's like 2,000 shows happening. I think they kind of didn't care. But I mean, I think that the esteem that they put us in is in the fact that we were in a really strange basement.
Yes, I remember that basement.
and we were on at midnight. I think they didn't care.
I remember that basement so clearly. It was like black in there. It was like so dark, but it was so fun. Yeah. It was so fun. That cast party the last night, I remember, I don't know where we were, but we were all dancing. We had so much fun. We went straight to the airport with our makeup from the show. Yes, we just went straight to the airport. And I remember showing up with like our lashes, and we were all sweaty from our epic dance party. And it was just so fun.
Oh, you guys were amazing that night as well.
Thank you.
I mean, that was a little special bit of time in that little basement.
Oh, it was amazing.
All these amazing acts that Edinburgh Festival hadn't, at that point, were really snobby about and had no idea.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It was another example of just having those kind of private parties for the cool kids.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's where I met Matt Fraser.
That's where you have the best. Oh, you
met Matt. I think that's where I can't remember if that's the first time I met Immodesty, but I think it was the first time I met Immodesty. And then, she came over to the States and we did some stuff here a couple years later. And I let the Lady Grey tease, and then they came over and they actually stayed with me for like a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
amazing.
It was fun. And it was, the early networking of the burlesque scene and crossing the country or crossing continents and bringing people together in the old fashioned way.
Yeah. And I guess that's the element of Whoopee and running these things that you have making those connections with people that wouldn't have met otherwise. Is a wonderful
responsible
thing.
for Matt Fraser and Julie Atlas's moves.
Oh yeah, no, he spoke about that when I interviewed him with Julie, and Immodesty did too, and they both were saying how the Whoopee Club was such an amazing place because you just didn't know what was coming on stage next. It was so magical and so crazy and so wild. And I just think that's so indicative of that time, too, of burlesque kind of finding itself and bringing so many different elements of performance together. But they both spoke of it, how it was just so amazing and beautiful and wild.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, if I did it now, like, what would the response be? Like, I think, if I did another Whoopee show, I just got no idea what people would react to, how people react now.
I think they would be really excited. Would you ever do it? Would you ever have a revival show?
One day, but I think because I'm now in my 40s, I was thinking about this earlier, the show would have to start at like 6 or something. I don't know what people...
Understood.
There'd be a tea party. Well, shut up! I'm almost 50. I want a nighttime show.
8:00. You could do it at 8:00. That's my favorite time.
That's when I get up, man.
Oh my God! I'm always like, I like a show that starts at 8. I want to be in bed by midnight. It's terrible.
No, I wouldn't want to be able to stay for till 2 a.m.
Oh man, I'm not the oldest raver in town.
But is it something you would ever do? Because I do think that audience would love to see that.
Yeah, maybe. Never say never.
Yeah, we did speak about it, and then I completely stopped speaking about it because I set up I'm running a cabaret club here in Ramsgate, but it's not Whoopee. It is a fun thing.
What kind of stuff are you doing? We did start
to talk about it. Well, as I said, it's like a weird version of Whoopee. It hasn't got all of no one dresses up. I keep trying to get them to dress up, but I have local performers. I bring in guest performers from all around the country, and we're in lockdown, so it was very popular, and it was going good.
It will.
I can't help myself. I just run cabarets all the time.
Well, it's
but a Whoopee thing would be fun, but it would have to be bloody big, and we'd have to know what it was and what it was from, and
What made you guys decide?
It'd be a big old job.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's not for 2020, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen this year. What made you guys decide to start winding down the club? I mean, I imagine that had to be a hard decision.
I personally was just sort of worn out. We were saying the intent of making shows. I couldn't personally keep it up much longer, and wanted to sort of make my more film video again, and Yeah, don't know about Lara.
And I guess because we went into it with absolutely no business plan.
Yeah.
There was no. We once were courted by this very like the trendiest PR company in London. They were like, "Come in, we want to help you," and they were like, phrases now that I might be more familiar with. They were talking about that we had early adopters. Tamara and I, everything that these really trendy, very expensive PR company who really wanted to help us, everything they said, we just laughed. We just we were not part of the real world. We were literally just in a world where all we thought about was how to make this amazing show. And we were like, why do we need PR? Because they're selling out. And they were kind of obviously thinking you could be something bigger.
Right.
It's literally not in our mind at all. We sat there and laughed like schoolgirls with these kind of really cool dudes were telling us like how cool we were. We were like, yeah. So we were gonna burn out because we had no sense about how we could we'll make money this way, right, and then we'll put this show here. All we wanted to do was get bigger and bigger because of our imaginations and because it would be fun.
For sure.
And there was no discussion about, or no understanding of the fact you have to be a bit cynical sometimes to make money to make that work,
No, for sure. I can imagine. I often have no plan as well. So when you decided did you decide and then do one last big show?
We had a goodbye show, didn't we?
At the Bethnal Green Working Men's Club. And Paloma came and performed. And that was nice.
Was it sad? Was it hard? Did you regret it? Were you thinking, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, it was really, really sad. Yeah. We're still sad.
I know.
But it is hard, and it's like if it doesn't become fun anymore, you don't want to go on and keep doing it, then you're going to kind of lose some of the spirit of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
I always wanted to be a film and video maker, so it got so popular so quickly. I wasn't. I probably needed time just to sort of step back from it a bit.
Yeah.
And kind of probably 3 years after I finished it, I probably would have then started it again. But I just, I needed some time to step back because it got so popular, instantly. And it wasn't even my sort of life plan. So,
I mean, neither of our life plans. We were just on this roller coaster of we're doing this. There was no preconceived idea. So we didn't know what we were moving towards.
But you must have created, when you stopped doing the club, that must have really created a gap in the social scene for this genre.
I listened to Matt Fraser and I said to my husband, I really miss seeing all these people because personally I don't, and with lockdown and COVID, I don't, we don't see these people that much. I mean, occasionally I see Fancy Chance and people, but that was also so lovely about Whoopee, is that all the people we would see all the time and the friends and that kind of real camaraderie of people was great.
Yeah. I think that's something that uniquely that show business and that backstage environment has to offer, that's really almost as fun as being on stage most of the time, and can't really replicate that.
No.
Angie, you must be missing it. Are you still perform?
Yeah, I did. My husband and I had got a show out in Vegas, and we've been out there a lot for the past year and a half, and then this happened, and it's nothing. So it's crazy. It's a whole new world. I'm trying to enjoy my time at home with my daughter, but I miss it. I feel like a crazy person some days because I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's so hard to know what you do if you're not producing stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes I get this really palpable sense that I miss the room where it's all about to kick off in, and that hub of an audience and a performer, and you've gone to speak to the performer and they're like, yeah, I'm in it, I'm about to go.
Oh, totally.
Oh, I crave that, really
I do too.
That.
The hum of the room with the audience coming in and sitting down and getting a drink.
Being backstage and seeing the audience from the back of the stage.
Oh, yeah.
you know, the way the lights are, and that is I saw that on a film, and it just instantly took me back to Whoopee.
Yeah.
Really mad, nervous excitement.
Yeah, the moment before it, like something that's only going to happen once, the moment just before it all kicks off is I don't know. You could center some religion around that.
Oh yeah,
it's a real special moment.
It is,
and we are all lucky enough to have been in that moment a lot of times in our life, and we are blessed, or you know, whatever they say on Instagram.
Absolutely.
We're like,
hashtag blessed.
Yeah, we're hashtag blessed, right? Like, you know.
No,
really
you're totally
good.
right. Some people never hear that sound or feel that energy, and it's just such a magical thing. That is what I miss. And I can remember that first feeling from when I was in like elementary school doing plays, and I would just like, you know, heard that for the first time and got hooked at that point to that energy. It's never left me, so I do miss that. Speaking of memories, what are some of your favorite memories of the Whoopee shows or mishaps? Because I find mishaps to be my favorite memories most of the time.
There was this gig that we did. There's a venue in Leicester Square called the Trocadero, and it's kind of this massive complex but at the bottom of it they've got this kind of cinema that's done out in a kind of Art Deco way. So we decided to have Whoopee's like a birthday party in there. So it's smaller than our normal gigs. We were showing like what film were we showing tomorrow?
Oh, it was La Belle et la Bête Jean Cocteau, because that was the theme.
Yes.
The party.
It was a funny little venue. Actually, it was the first one that Russell, your producer.
Yes, and who was the stage? You guys introduced me to Russell. I met Russell when he was the stage manager at the Edinburgh. And then he brought me to Australia, and now we've got this amazing friendship and working relationship. And yeah, his production company produces the podcast. So look at that, Whoopee Club.
I know, right? So, and the first time I met him was at this gig. Yeah. That's the beauty of bringing loads of different people together. You find out years later that
connections
that people met through this and have gone on to do stuff, and it's wonderful to have that kind of legacy.
So he was at this gig in the audience.
All of us have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he was. So this story isn't about him. Sorry.
He was there.
Basically, we since went on to get a cake made, but at this point we didn't own our own cake that a burlesque performer could burst out.
Oh yes, okay.
So I had to hire a massive cake from, what were they called? Theme traders. For a Modesty Blaze was going to pop out of this cake and for our birthday, because it was Whoopee's 1 year, 2 year birthday. I don't know. It was our birthday. Anyway, it's our birthday. So, and anyway, I called them. I paid loads of money for this cake. And they were like, it's been delivered. I'm like, I'm here. It's not delivered. This show's about to start. There's no cake. There's no cake. So then, so they said that definitely we've got a signature from someone at Trocadero. So I go and walk through Trocadero. It's this massive weird complex that's got like kind of restaurants, and it's just a weird, I mean, I've never really been into the shopping centre. It was like this kind of good time place in Leicester Square, mainly for tourists. I walk through to try and find someone who I can tell that there's been a problem about this cake. And I walk past a kids' party. I walk back. In the middle, there's all these little kids, and our cake is in the middle. This kid's fire. There's not your cake. No. Yeah. So we had to kind of maneuver this cake out of a kid's party. It's like, this is not for you. This is for a lady to burst out of. Sorry.
Oh my God, that's
Hoisting around a burlesque cake became, once we had one made, every Saturday night was my glamorous life. I can't drive, so I'd hire a van, put the cake in this venue, and then go home, have a cup of tea, and then the burlesque form would burst out in someone's party, and then I'd have to come and pick the cake back up, and then try and get it in the door of the Bethnal Green Working Men's Club, which is where our office was, where a massive party would be going on, and try and wheel this massive,
So glamorous.
There's no glamour being a producer, so our stories are silly.
Oh, no, I know. It's the same for performers, really. It's like at the end of the day, you're probably carrying your own suitcase down a narrow flight of stairs.
Yeah, that's true.
We had this performer, Miss Lily White, who would also headline Whoopee a lot. She was she like she knew how to horse ride, didn't she? It was like her dream.
She was a horsey
Yeah, no,
person. What's it called?
we used to like perform.
Equestrian.
So obviously, with our ambitions, we said we are going to make that happen for you.
Wow.
No, but also, Tamara, do you remember, because she'd said she wanted to perform on a horse, and then we went to the Hackney Empire because we were going to do this gig there. And there were these big doors on the side of the stage, and we were like, what are those? They're the horse doors. So we're like, okay, at this point, we're definitely going to hire a horse because we've got a burlesque performer that wants to perform on a horse.
And you've got horse doors.
Yes.
It was a sign.
Horse doors.
That's a sign. That's crazy. I would be so scared. I would be terrified as a producer to have a horse on stage.
Oh, he was a lovely horse. He was called Ronan.
See, you guys need to get some pictures of this stuff and start putting it all online.
We've got loads of pictures of that. It's amazing. I remember that day because there's a little alleyway down the side of Hackney Empire, which is a beautiful Victorian theatre where, Charlie Chaplin and Murray Lloyd and all these people performed there, and they restored it beautifully. It's an amazing venue. And there's a little passageway at the back, and I was walking there to get into backstage, and there was a horse.
Amazing.
There with his little plume on. I'm like, we've actually done this. We've got a horse in the middle of Hackney, about to have a burlesque performer standing on it. Yeah.
I mean,
I think that day wasn't there a terrorist attack?
oh.
It was a few days before, so we had we had bad ticket sales. It was a bad week.
Because people were scared to come.
Yeah.
Was that when there was the bombing? It was like a bombing on
there was a
bus?
bombing on a bus. Yeah, it was then.
Are you, either of you, still involved in burlesque at all?
Well, I often film with dancers. So my next film, I'm going to film with a group of dancers, but it's not really burlesque. It's more sort of, Isadora Duncan meets contemporary dance. It's the first time I'm going to have like a group of dancers working with them since Whoopee. So that will be, and
That's exciting.
Choreographer Jane Turner. She's going to work with me. So
you guys are still both involved in performance and the arts and creating art. Do you miss burlesque?
Yeah.
Do you miss the energy of burlesque? Because I feel like it's so different in a sense.
Oh yeah, I run a. So after Whoopee, I for a couple of years ran a thing called the Tournament of Teas.
Oh.
Where a lot of the kind of next generation of burlesque performers like cut their teeth. It was basically a burlesque competition, but people would do their first burlesque act, and a lot of those people are in contact with me. And, I'm now running a cabaret club near the seaside, but it's very popular. People really need burlesque and cabaret. Yeah. And so I'm still booking burlesque acts amongst other things.
Oh, that's great.
On cabaret. Yeah, and I still think it has a relevance and an energy, and things go through. There's times when they're less relevant and more relevant, but especially I'm out of a big city right now, and I think that this stuff is more important to put on in places where they haven't been saturated.
For sure.
With this kind of performance, and there's a woman here, Missy Maybe, who's a local burlesque performer, and she comes from a drama type. She does this very funny stuff, and it's got spoken word.
Oh, I love that.
And it's brilliant, and it's giving that same kind of energy to a show, and it's relevant and it's important, and it becomes, I think, because young women are more and more overtly political. And they're also now, I think, finding burlesque again. I think I've got a feeling that with all the kind of drag and the queer stuff almost kind of taking over, that women are coming back to burlesque, but in a slightly skew-whiff way and an even more ballsy and political way, and that makes me feel really happy.
That's good. I like that viewpoint.
I could be wrong, but my feeling is that it's becoming relevant again.
No, for sure. I feel like you do see the ebb and flow,
and that young women have got something to say.
No, for sure. And you're right, to put it in rural areas in the cities where you have all this stuff all the time. It's really got a lot of impact when you take it out of the city and bring it someplace else. Tamara, what about you? Are you still involved in the scene at all, or aware, or do you keep an eye on it?
I said with lockdown we can't really see anybody, but I mean I still sort of see some people from the scene, and when we're able to. But But I'm hoping that maybe when we all get vaccinated, we'll all have perhaps a kind of renewed desire to all go out and meet each other again and do more life.
Oh, for sure.
And take part, and we will have a kind of, new wave of stuff like that. That would be really interesting.
I think so. I think there'll be an inspired kind of thing that happens. But could you have imagined when you started the Whoopee Club, when you met at the fan dancing class, that, 2020 burlesque would still be going and be really bigger than ever and a global phenomenon? Could you have imagined such a thing?
No, it's amazing. And I think it's really great, idea of, for women and men. And I think we sort of paved the way in this kind of gender exploration of all kinds of genders, because we started off with women, but then we had men and drag and all kinds of things, and that has sort of started that whole kind of trajectory of people exploring their gender through performance. And I think that's really interesting.
Definitely. And do you, like, when you think about when you started the Whoopee Club, is it like mission accomplished when you think about it and you look back at what you wanted to create? Are you satisfied with what you both did?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. I just can't believe all the things we did. It was amazing. It took over the floor of a whole hotel. There's just so many sort of mad things that we did. It was amazing. Yeah, it is. As I said, it's like a sort of movie, kind of exploits and adventures of a team of people.
And I mean, it must be such an amazing feeling to think about all the amazing shows that you did do, all the people that you brought together, all the connections that you made. I mean, I hope that you're aware of what an important part the Whoopee Club was in the resurgence of neo burlesque. I mean, it's like, it is a staple in the book, it's a binding thing. It was a major thing. Are you aware of that?
Not really. No, not until these podcasts. Like, I mean, I've been listening. I hadn't really realized, to be honest. No.
Well, but even when you think of the connections that were made, I mean, I'm quite sure that's where I met Immodesty. We went on to do things together. I met Matt there, met Russell there. He brought me to Australia. And those are just my stories. I know there's the Lady Grey Teas came here. It was the hub, I think. And I mean, it created.
We had this sort of amazing energy that created all these amazing performers that are out there in movies and on stage, and that's a really special feeling.
Yeah, I've always thought of you both and the Whoopee Club as kind of like the slipper room of New York, where it just provided a ground for people to get on stage and do their performances and find their way. And it brought in the audience and trained the audience, and it exposed burlesque to thousands and thousands of people and performers or people who saw it and then would go on to become a performer.
And I think also that training the audience is important, basically kind of legitimize all of those acts by setting that platform and that stage so well.
Yeah.
So the audience felt part of it, but also to go, this is not like a cheap show, a sleazy thing. This is something that you all need to stand up. And I think that's what we did. We staged performance for the public in a way that that made everyone get on board with it
and get excited about it, because
and that makes me feel proud.
It's a thing to be proud for, because this was I feel like in the early 2000s, people weren't used to seeing these kinds of performances on stage, especially all together in that kind of environment. So the audiences had to be exposed and trained, and that was not a small feat. And I want you guys to scan in your pictures and get it online and take your place on the throne of the neo history of burlesque, because it was a ton of work what you both accomplished and the people that you brought into it, and it launched careers like Immodesty. You have to listen to her podcast because she talks about it too.
Maybe you should help us put our book together, because it's quite hard to put.
I know.
We don't really want to put ourselves on the throne.
But you must. That's what I've learned as I've gotten older. Oh, you have to put yourself on the throne.
You gotta make your own throne.
That's
in this world,
right. Yes, you make your own throne and you sit in it. But that's what you did. And that's what I find with all the people that I talked to too, that were so important in the beginning of burlesque. It was like, you see the whole of what you want to create, and then you just create it. And I think that that's what you
lots of people don't, in their real life don't have the balls to go, I want to do that and do it. But there is a freedom within burlesque.
Yes.
To create an idea in your own head and then make it real. It's possible. And that's what's beautiful, I think, about burlesque.
Absolutely. So what's next for you both? When we can go back to normal life or seemingly normal life, aside from the Whoopee Club revival, what's your next project?
As I said, we thought we were going to try and do a book about Whoopee, and maybe some sort of exhibition with my work and other people's work, and that could combine perhaps Whoopee and other genres. Lara, what about you?
Well, I'm running this thing down here called Screaming Alley, which puts on cabaret events when it can. We've been putting them online. We also got money from the Arts Council during lockdown. We've been making these amazing films of performers, which we're going to put out as a little 7-minute TV show eventually when we're learning. We're learning, but I think it's gonna be really good. Yeah, and we're also doing streaming like cabaret events, which where the audience are mainly the show. They do a lot of funny, silly games. So that's what I'm doing. And I've also what I've been doing. Sorry, now, and I'll tell you what else I've been doing. I've ended up off the back of working in cabaret for years. Is having quite solid relationships with artists who then want to go on to create solid work of their own. So I work as a producer on a one-to-one basis with people who are making like solo shows and longer shows. So they've gone from making cabaret acts to making the piece that they want to make. And I do quite a lot of that.
Yeah, people need help on that process. It's a learned experience, as you know.
Yeah, and particularly I like working with women. Particularly I like working with women who are older, and I particularly like working with people that don't think they can do it. Because they always can, and they're always the best.
That's the truth. Yeah. It's the underdog, the Rocky. Oh,
yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to chat with me on the Bump and Grind today. I know it's hard to find it. It's a busy, crazy time, but I'm so appreciative, and I'm so happy that you both joined me today.
Thank you.
And that was another episode of the Bump and Grind. Get your Instagram game on by following Tamara and Lara. You can find Lara at lara.clifton and Tamara at Tamara Tyrer. You know where I am, at Angie Pontani. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, send it to a friend. Show us some love the 2020 way, which means from a distance. Until next time, I'll see you back here on the Bump and Grind.
This has been a Giant Panda King production. You can find us at giantpandaking.com and on Instagram at giantpandaking.